Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Chris Huckes, and this is your best life defined. Well, I'm not sure if I'm going to ask you how you're doing because there's probably a chance you're doing okay. Not doing great, you're not rocking your world, but you're probably doing all right. But I will ask you why you chose the things you chose. I mean, back when you were when you were 17, 16, and you're just learning about life and learning about all the great things you can do, why did you choose the path that you're on right now? Why did you choose the life that looks like it does? I mean, early on, we all know. I mean, remember those days of walking around with your friend, talking about your dreams, about what you want your life to look like, how you're going to be amazing at this, or you're going to do this, your life looks like that. You know, I guarantee that it probably didn't include the conversation you'd have today, this conversation. I mean, what does your life look like? You wake up and you do what you do, and you go through the day and you grind it out, and at the end of each day you look back and you go, yep, that's what my life looks like. My question is why? Why that? We're in this whole big thing where we have the opportunity to choose whatever we want to choose, to be whatever we want to be. How does that get distorted to the point that this is the best we can do? I know, I get it. I look around and I see people, and they go out and they have their houses and their yards and all their stuff. And granted, that's not a judgment. That's just the way it is. Take a look around. We all do it the same way. But why didn't we do more than? Does it seem like there's so many people who just cannot do any more than that? That's the plan. That's why this message, living your best life, is such a difficult concept to accept. What do you mean, be different? What do you mean, wake up and make choices based on the direction that you want your life to be or to go based on who you are? What? It just seems like it's unfathomable for me. Now, what's funny is that the younger a person is, I've just learned this over the last couple of days because since we've been kind of hanging out here, I've gotten a chance to talk to some younger people, kids that are in between 14 and say 25, younger guys and gals that aren't actually committed to the level that you probably are. Because if you're 35 or you're 40 years old, you have a mountain of debt, you have all these obligations and all this stuff that keeps you where you are. I mean, you can't make any major changes. You're not going to wake up tomorrow and say, oh, hey, honey, listen, I've decided I don't like living in Colorado anymore. We're going to sell everything and we're going to move to Florida. Not only would your partner think you're crazy, but everyone around you would say, oh, you're nuts. Even when that decision is based on the fact that everything you're doing in Colorado sucks, that you're a surfer, that you want to hang out on the ocean, that there are things you would rather be doing with your time than grinding it out in Colorado, everyone's going to think you're crazy. What? You're going to change something in your life? That's dangerous. And why'd you choose it in the first place? Well, everybody chooses it. I don't care. I mean, when you take a look at the number of people you know who actually live a life that is different than yours, how many can you name? That's significantly different than yours, that where they engage in activities that are significantly different than you. You know, that person that does things you're like, oh, that's crazy. You're not going to find too many. I mean, Sandy and I mean, if you know who we are and you've been listening to us for a while, we're those crazy people. Oh, no, we didn't choose to stay in one spot and spend our life in debt, hoping that someday we could be debt-free and that we would be able to retire and that maybe our job would get better or maybe the new boss coming in would be better. Oh, no, we chose to sell all that and to spend our time traveling around the country and seeing great stuff and doing great things and eating great food. And being afraid. Ooh. No. I did it. Sandy and I did it. And the reason that you made the choices you make, and you can tell me what you want about it, but the reason you're making the choices you make, and more than that, the reason this conversation is so difficult for most people to listen to is because it's so contrary to what you've been taught. You're like, what? Oh, so what are you saying? You want me to sell everything and move into an RV like you? No, that's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is pick something in your life that you enjoy, that inspires you, and then make every effort, do whatever it takes to add that to your life. I mean, it could be simple. It could be maybe working out, maybe finding a way to get enthused about the idea of losing that 20 pounds you keep talking about but are never able to do. Go look back in January. Did you accomplish all your New Year's resolutions? I mean, I'm amazed if you do. In fact, I want to hear from you if you accomplished all of your New Year's resolutions. You lost that 20 pounds, you quit drinking, whatever that thing was. I want to hear. I definitely want to hear from you. I guarantee it's going to be crickets. You won't post a message on this podcast going, "Hey, listen, sorry, bud, you're wrong." You just like your neighbor, just like your dad, just like your uncle, just like your cousins. Well, we got to get a house, okay, and a mortgage is fine. It's okay to be in debt. Why? Now, let me tell you what I would suggest you do, or this is what we did. We did the same thing as you, and then one day we realized that on a scale of 1 to 10, most of the stuff we was doing was about a 4. Now, given where I'm at and the fact that I don't know how long I'm going to live, I got to thinking, well, maybe I should be shooting towards the 10. Maybe I should be like waking up every day excited like it's Christmas Day or my birthday or some amazing adventure day where I get to do something that I've never done before. I'm thinking, well, yeah, I could do that. And the more I thought about it, the more I got to realize, yeah, maybe that is the plan. Sure, mowing the lawn's fun, but it's not nearly as fun as walking in Acadia National Park or riding your bike in Acadia National Park until your legs fall off. Going whale watching in Bar Harbor, Maine, or hanging out, walking, rock hounding in the deserts of Yuma, in the desert of Yuma, or playing in the sand in Miramar Beach in Destin, Florida. The reason you picked what you did, why you chose that, was because it's what you've been taught. But guess what? Choosing something else isn't scary, especially when you choose the right thing. Choosing something else isn't scary when it's amazing. And then it gets a little scary, but the amazing is what overrides that. That's what overrides the fear. When Sandy and I were looking at that mountain of stuff we had a 3-story house and garage and shop, and we had an acre and a quarter and all this stuff, a lifetime of stuff. And when we looked at that and we're like, oh my God, we got to get rid of all this if we want to live this life. But the life we were looking at living was so amazing by that time that it's like, yeah, I'm scared to death. Yeah, I don't know if I should get rid of that. Oh my God. And then we started doing it, but the life we had, the picture we'd painted for ourselves for the life we were getting ready to live was so great, so cool, that we just did it anyway. You're already there. You're already Mr. Homeowner. You're already on the way to being your dad or your grandpa or your uncle. You did it. What now? And more than that, why that? Okay, you did it. You know what it's like to be a homeowner. You know what it's like to live in debt. You know what it's like to grind it out day in and day out and do all the things you think you need to do because of the image for what success is. Now that you've done that, what are you going to do? Why don't you pick something else? I don't know what it could be. Maybe start golfing. Pick something great. Start walking with your partners. If for no other reason, just to open up that communication. You know how good it feels to walk by my partner, walk down a trail somewhere, and we're talking about this and that and taking pictures and just embracing the experience of being together. And then someone says something about an idea, and pretty soon that idea starts cooking, and before you know it, guess what? We're horseback riding in the Gulf of Mexico, right? We're headed into Mexico, and we're supposed to be scared because, you could have chosen to be anything, and you still can. That's the cool part about it. You still can. You can take a look at your life right now and you can say, okay, we chose that. Now what? Okay, we chose this relationship. Now what? All right, let's make it better. Well, how can we make it better? Oh, let's just do some stuff that scares the hell out of both of us. Let's become a team. Let's become survivors together. Why? Because you can. Because it scares you. Because you need to find a source of energy that gets you excited about the prospect of doing more than what you're doing right now. And doing it for the right reasons. Because it's like, wow, I've always dreamed of doing this. I always dreamed, since I was a little kid, I always dreamed of doing this. And then there you are doing it, and you're like, wow. You know what that does for you? That puts fuel in your tank. Doing things that are like bigger than life, that are like farther out than you can imagine, and accomplishing those goals, that's the fuel, that's the energy that drives people like Sandy and I to continue to want to be better partners, to continue to want to see more and experience more in our life. Why that? I can tell you, when you look at me and you think, well, he's living in a trailer house, doing a lame-ass podcast. Why that? Because I don't know anyone else who's living in a trailer house doing a podcast. I don't know anyone else who has the ability at any time just to pick up and go wherever the heck I want to. I mean, now there are millions of people who do it, but I don't know anybody in my circle. I'm the only one. Sandy and I are the only full-time RVers in our circle of friends. Now, granted, there are groups on social media that are people just like us, but I'm just saying, when I go to my Facebook page, there isn't anybody doing anything crazy. Hey, listen, we're getting ready to sell the house and we're moving to Florida. We're going to buy us a condo. Hey, listen, we're moving to Florida. We're getting rid of all this crap and we're changing our life now that the kids are grown. No, it always comes with an excuse. Yeah, you know, we'd like to travel. That's what I hear. I hear them. I'll be talking to people that I know, and I'm like, how you doing, Chris? Haven't seen you. Well, what you doing? I'll be like, oh, we're traveling. Oh, yeah. Me and my wife, we talked about traveling. Yeah, that'd be cool. We kind of talked about it, but it's kind of scary. It's kind of scary. Oh, it's much easier to do that. You know, to have the house, wake up every day and mow the lawn. And of course, that's my energy. I mean, really think about your life. If you're honest with yourself, imagine the energy level that you have when you roll in from a long day of doing all the things you do. Does it feel like it does to pull into a new RV park and know that you get to spend 3 months in the sun on the sand, chasing dolphins, surfing, doing whatever you want to do, someplace new with new energy, new people, new fears? Damn. I don't know. It's up to you. I mean, even now, if you take an inventory of your life and you ask yourself, why this? Why do we do this? If you can come up with a great answer, like maybe it just inspires you and it makes you feel so accomplished that you just don't want to let it go, that's fine, do it. But the sad part is, for most of us, that's not the case. For most of us, what it is, it's the mirror image of what life is supposed to be, and it's easy. It's easy to be like everyone else. There's a blueprint. There's the bank that'll give you the loan. There's the uncle or the dad that can get you the job. There's the preacher that'll marry you. There's the daycare that'll watch your kids. I don't know. For me, I want more than that. For me, I want more, not because of where I am, but because of where I can be. And I'll never be satisfied. I will never be satisfied with where I am or what I've accomplished, because there's always another way to make it better. Better is when you wake up after a long day of doing what you did yesterday and you're so glad you got the opportunity to do it. When you're excited and you roll over to your partner and you say, oh my God, can you believe it? Can you believe we actually did that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. When you feel that way, that's how you'll know that you're on the path to living your best life. When you're excited about the things you do, and when you keep looking in the back of your mind, no matter what you're doing, you know there's more out there. There's more things that you can do, you can learn, you can become. And you just keep going after it. And before you know it, you're looking back and the time is gone and you're going to say, damn, I'm glad we did that. So I'm just one guy who got this crazy idea that maybe somehow, if I did it right, if I worked hard enough at it, that someone's life would change because of it. And someone's life did change because of it. Sandy's life changed, and so did mine. And I wouldn't change a thing. It's amazing. Try it. I challenge you to step up and say, okay, I think we can do better than this. Hey, baby, are you ready? Let's do it. Let's start looking for something. Let's start grabbing a hold of something that's going to make our life better. And before you know it, you'll be like, yeah. Crazy old man telling crazy stories. I hope you're interested. I hope you're picking up on what I'm saying. Go back and listen to some of these podcasts. There's a story in every one of them. What's unique or what's interesting about it, it's all the same story. It's about defining what's better and then going after it. So keep that in mind. Thanks for showing up every day. And as always, just remember, today's your day. Make it a good one.